Waking up feeling like a hot piece of garbage. Good morning, happy Wednesday. And it's not because of all the garbage blown around Kansas City the last 3 days. My goodness, get those storms here so we can get rid of this wind and this 80-degree dry weather we've had in Kansas City for the last 3 days. But I'm feeling like garbage because, well, last night during a Zoom call, Joe Biden said this.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Well, that was certainly not the moment that Kamala Harris's team wanted to be dealing with 6 days out from an election. But there you go. It is eerily reminiscent to Hillary Clinton's 2016 basket of deplorables. Although I would argue the deplorables comment is less offensive than the garbage comment. Now, I just laugh at it. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm just kind of scoffing at it, but I'm not highly offended in the sense that I'm going to get on the high horse and be like, how dare you call me garbage? I kind of figured Joe felt that way based on some of the actions that the administration had taken in recent years. Like, okay, thanks for saying the quiet part out loud there, big boy. I appreciate that, if nothing else. But the reaction to this is awfully telling. Here's what was said this morning. Tim Walz is making the rounds on some of the morning shows. I see he's done CBS. He's done ABC. This morning from CBS, Tim Walz getting asked about these comments from Joe Biden. And here's what the vice presidential nominee just said moments ago. Let's roll it.
913-21.
That's not it.
I want to put it into a larger context of your recent comment comparing the Sunday Trump rally to a Nazi rally. And I would also throw in there Obama's bitter clingers, guns and religion comment from a while back, the deplorable line from Hillary Clinton's campaign, and the way that Democrats are seen by some voters as disrespecting them. And I have to ask, does that undercut this closing message of unity from your campaign?
No, certainly not.
No, certainly not. Not even like, no, certainly not, says Tiananmen Tim. Certainly, I mean, with certainty. Now, I know that politicians across the aisle lie through their teeth every single day. I understand that. Republicans, Democrats, even the goober Green Party and Libertarian folks lie through their teeth. I understand it. It is par for the course. But, man, to not have any moments of self-reflection right there is a totally lost cause for Tim Walz. You don't come out of the gates to that question and say no. You say, this is why we're running. We're running to give a succinct message, even though it'd be a bunch of nonsense. You'd say, we're here to give a succinct message. God bless President Biden. We think he's done a good job in office, but we are here to give the succinct message, the closing argument for this campaign. And the Harris campaign has got to be livid with Joe Biden right now. She's given a closing argument at the Ellipse in D.C. last night, a stone's throw away from where Biden's doing a Zoom call, and the dude totally overtakes the news cycle by calling half the country garbage. Now, the White House is doing a little cleanup on aisle 9 by saying and sharing the transcript referring to Joe Biden's comments and saying that he was saying supporters apostrophe S. The implication there is that the apostrophe S means that Joe Biden was only talking about the stand-up comedian, Tony Hinchcliffe, not all Donald Trump supporters. But I will play it again, and you can infer for yourself.
Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
You interpret that however you want. All I know is this. For the same group of individuals who spent 3 days hyperventilating about a Trump rally pre-show warm-up act, insult comic making bad jokes that they then turn into the lead story in the country, that they insisted was incredibly important and was in many ways emblematic of their Nazi fascist narrative. To then have the sitting president of the United States call the supporters of his party's opposition garbage, clear as day on video, and then try to do a complete about-face into claiming that that's really not what he meant, offering up excuses, explaining why it didn't matter, or ignoring it entirely, is exactly why nobody trusts media in this country by and large anymore. Here was CNN last night. A guy named Franklin Leonard goes on there and gives one of the most ridiculous excuses on behalf of Joe Biden that you are ever going to hear. And then he got some pushback from the one right-of-center guy they've got on CNN. His name is Scott Jennings. Let's start off with the commentary from Franklin Leonard.
Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves. But Joe Biden has been on the campaign trail. He's best getting ice cream.
Spare me the whole, as someone who had a lisp growing up. Oh, my
bragger.
Gosh. Yeah. Spare me the sob story. Oh, my gosh. Everybody's a victim. No one's held accountable for their words. Jeez. But a dopey stand-up comedian who nobody knew till 5 minutes ago defines Donald Trump's entire political movement, according to the same people who are like, Joe Biden can't speak. He has never been a big arena speaker. And by the way, as somebody who's got a lisp or grew up with a lisp or whatever he said.
In Maryland, like he was today. He's best showing moments of empathy in Arizona like he was last week. He's best with union folks as he was in Pittsburgh last week as well. You use people where they are best. You put Obama in a big arena, you put Michelle in a big arena, and you put Joe Biden in front of a bunch of union people doing retail politics.
You could make the argument that they would be fine if Joe Biden wasn't anywhere near a microphone between now and next Tuesday.
Let me just accept the most charitable framing of this, which you just gave. Why is he sitting in front of a laptop at the exact same moment Kamala Harris is out on his backyard trying to give the closing argument to her campaign? What in the world is he doing? Now, I don't accept your framing of it personally because I actually do believe he, Harris, the Democratic Party, and most of their campaign do believe that half the country is garbage. They've also said people who go to Trump rallies are Nazis. And so it's pretty apparent the disdain with which they hold half of the country in.
It's not true. The party already litigated it in Kamala's speech tonight.
But as a tactical matter today,
no, but you don't just get to say
why in the world is Joe Biden giving remarks at the same time as Kamala Harris?
I'll give you that.
I love that. You don't just get to say that. Well, I just did. What are you going to do about it? And it's not an unreasonable thing to say there from Scott Jennings. But that has just been some of the media reaction over the last 12 hours since Joe Biden made these comments. And the October surprise, I did not expect to be Joe Biden waking up from a weeks-long slumber and calling half the country garbage. Jeremiah's in Leavenworth. Go ahead. You're on KCMO.
Politicians have a funny way of reinterpreting words into new meanings or stances or grammatical uses. So when Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black, was the word usage of the word you directed only at the person interviewing him? It's just...
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Yeah. It's a good question. I don't know if the you was directed at just the interviewer or if it was you by and large to an entire race of people. That's a great question.
Yeah, the more you know, Rainbow. There you go. Have a good day.
Thank you. Let's go to Scooter in Lawrence. What's happening, man?
Good morning, Pete. Welcome. I just
wanted
to touch on
welcome. I mean, welcome to you, man. I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours. What's happening?
I just wanted to touch on your comment about changing GDS from a syndrome to a phobia. And I got into a small heated debate yesterday at the grocery store, and I was informed that I was garbage because I was a Trump supporter, which, okay, fine. But these people in this debate, there was 3 of them, and they were college kids. They actually believe Trump is going to open up internment camps for people who are voting against him. I can't believe people are this gullible.
Scooter, you are right there in Lawrence, so what are you dealing with, some KU kids?
Absolutely. The Socialist Republic of Lawrence. I can't believe how awful it is.
Well, hey, man, how long you been there? Too long is the answer,
Since
but
2020.
2020. Okay. Well, you're in the thick of it, brother. And you're walking around in Donald Trump gear in Lawrence. I mean, you're kind of asking for it.
Well,
I'm kidding. You're not.
As far as I know, I'm in America. And
I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. But so, what'd you have on? A Trump hat, a shirt, or what?
I had a MAGA hat on,
Okay.
and they actually did the classic "How dare you!" So it was pretty funny.
How dare
They
you?
gave you the old. Why am I blanking on her name?
Greta.
They gave you the Greta Thunberg treatment, huh?
Oh, it's hilarious when it happens. I just smile now because I honestly can't believe that these people will say that they think there's going to be internment camps. I just don't understand where this comes from.
Man, that is pretty wild stuff. Those people are out there, but it makes you wonder what they're reading and what kind of news and content they're consuming.
I have no idea. Maybe it's the water.
Or maybe it's, thank you very much, maybe it's professors like Philip Smallcock out there at KU. What's his? Oh, it's Lowcock. Sorry. I always screw up his name. What was his email address again? The guy out there at KU that got canned?
Plowcock.
That's right.
KU.edu.
The guy went through 20 years at KU with the email plowcock at KU.edu. P. Lowcock. They couldn't put a period in that guy's email address. Holy smokes. No wonder he went off the deep end. He spent 20 years with the email plowcock at KU.edu.
He still never got back to me.
He didn't?
I've been waiting.
And you emailed him?
I emailed him, yeah.
And you didn't get a bounce back or anything?
No. I thought he was canned. Usually they take away the email.
Yeah, well, usually they take away the email when you get fired.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's hanging out with Rex Archer somewhere, the former KCML health director.
Thanksgiving.
We're coming up on it, big boy.
I love Thanksgiving.
Okay. Plowcock and Archer would do well together, especially since I don't think Archer's wife is still sleeping with him since COVID. Remember that whole thing? He came on the show in April of 2020. He was like, yeah, my wife's in a different room now. Yeah, she's been begging for that for 20 years. COVID's her excuse there, big boy. 913-408-7957. Oh, my goodness. Probably should break before we get in any trouble around here. David Stokes will be here at the bottom of the hour. We've got What If Wednesday that is going to be coming up as well. So stay tuned for that. The lawsuits, unfortunately, are already getting filed in swing states. We'll tell you why and where next. Ben Shapiro just putting this up on X. Of course, Ben's on at 2 o'clock here on KCMO before Guy Benson. Hey, guys, good news. If you ever find yourself in trouble, just claim that a plural noun is actually singular possessive with an apostrophe. It's an amazing get-out-of-jail-free trick. That's very well done.
Come on, man.
From Ben Shapiro, who's coming up at 2 here on KCMO, in reference to Joe Biden's garbage comments that have taken over the news cycle, at least in some respects, over the last 12 hours or so. Now, I did want to play this because there have been lawsuits already filed, or at least one lawsuit filed, in the state of Pennsylvania. This comes last night. Donald Trump at a rally in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Michael Whatley is the GOP chairman. And he spoke last night, and he said that they have filed a lawsuit already in a county in Pennsylvania. Because what is happening, and this is on video, so I'm just putting this out there. I'm reporting this more as news, and you do with it what you want, but it's more of a news story than anything else right now. I don't have some opinion on it, but there are a lot of videos that were circulating yesterday showing that they were closing early voting locations early in Pennsylvania, in specific counties. They were closing the lines to vote as early as 1:30 in the afternoon when they were supposed to be open until 5 o'clock. and beyond if people are already in line. So there's multiple videos of this that are circulating around the internet, and I didn't know what to make of it because obviously I'm not on the ground there. But then last night you had this announcement from the GOP chairman at this rally in Pennsylvania. Here's Michael Whatley.
Democrat election officials are seeing our numbers. They're seeing our turnout. They are seeing us breaking early vote records across Pennsylvania. They are terrified, and they want to stop our momentum. We are not going to let them suppress our votes. We are going to fight. I'm proud tonight to tell you that the Trump-Vance campaign has just filed a huge lawsuit against Bucks County for turning away our voters. We are going to fight this thing in court, and all we ask of you is to stay in line. Donald Trump needs your votes. Donald Trump needs Pennsylvania, and America needs Pennsylvania. We are going to swamp the vote, and we are not going to let the Democrats stop us.
That's Michael Whatley last night in Allentown, Pennsylvania. He is the GOP chairman. Now, I see the videos. I don't know what to make of it beyond that. All I know is when you have people shutting down early voting locations 2.5 to 3 hours before they close, that's not a great sign. I don't know the legality in the state of Pennsylvania or anything about it. I just know already you've got some issues there that appear to be popping up, and now lawsuits are being filed. No matter what, and this pains me to say, the attorneys are going to make a fortune no matter what happens next Tuesday. And I don't like that. I mean, listen, I've got some great friends who are attorneys, specific trial attorneys. But one thing that doesn't get enough attention is the cost of everything in this country, including things like car insurance and just really any insurance, homeowners insurance, in large part being driven by the industry that has become trial attorneys. No one will talk about it. No one will address it. Instead, we want there to be an easy political answer. But the way now that every company in America feels like it's about to get sued has driven up the costs, because the cost of all these things for the corporations get passed on to the customer in some way, shape, or form. And that applies to politics as well. There will be attorneys across the aisle who are going to get very, very rich no matter the outcome coming up on Tuesday. And this, unfortunately, could be one example of just that. But it's something to keep an eye on in the days ahead.